Last month Queen Elizabeth II called for common ground, respecting different point of views, and never losing sight of the bigger picture in a speech to mark the 100 years of Sandringham Women's Institute in Norfolk. As head of state, the Queen must remain politically neutral and not express her views on political issues. However, the speech has later been viewed as Brexit allusion and a bid to politicians to end the toxic debate around Brexit. What does the Queen really think about Brexit? In her speech in Norfolk in January, the Queen stated the continued emphasis on patience, friendship, a strong community focus and considering the needs of others are as important today as they were when the group was founded all those years ago. Of course, every generation faces fresh challenges and opportunities. As we look for new answers in the modern age, I for one prefer the tried and tested recipes, like speaking well of each other and respecting different points of view, coming together to seek out the common ground, and never losing sight of the bigger picture. Read more, Royal Ripoff. The Queen takes on business rate changes in Row over £16,800 bill. She then said the approaches were timeless, and I commend them to everyone. The Sandringham speech echoed her annual Christmas address when she told the nation, even with the most deeply held differences, treating the other person with respect and as a fellow human being is always a good first step towards greater understanding. BBC royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell said there was little doubt the Queen was sending a message. He said, "It is impossible to imagine that the head of state would use a construction of words such as this without it being appreciated, that they would be seen as a reference to the current political debate. And this is not the first time the Queen has touched on political issues. The British monarch was also dragged into the EU referendum campaign in 2016. As The Sun reported, the Queen told former Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg she believed the EU was heading in the wrong direction. She also made a comment before the Scottish independence referendum in 2014. As the monarch was meeting a member of the public outside Crathie church near Balmoral, she said she hoped voters would think very carefully about the future. This comes as the Brexit deadline is fast approaching. The UK is scheduled to leave the EU on March 29, but so far, Parliament has not managed to agree on a deal. After several delays to the so-called meaningful vote, where MPs will get their say on the Brexit deal, Prime Minister Theresa May have set a date for March 12. This leaves the UK with just over 2 weeks to come up with another solution if the withdrawal agreement gets voted down.